What's up, people? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope y'all made some money last week. It was a pretty good week for trading. Especially Friday, we had a nice little push. Um, but we have a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. As always, we get right into it. Um, and I always start with the bonds. So with the bonds, let me scoot this chair. There we go. So with the bonds, I'm looking at how we just swept the previous quarter low. So quarter four low was swept, not even swept. We just took that liquidity on all three, um, our 30 year, 10 year, and 5 years. Um, what we actually have is a little divergence here on the weekly between the 30 year and 10 year and the 30 year and the 5 year note. So, not doing too much analysis on bonds, just right now, I am temporarily bullish, but I'm still bearish overall. We left these equal lows here on the 5 year note, so we could see something like, maybe a move up and to grab those, and then we can move back up. Um, we could see a retracement up here, and then the target here. And I think that's probably more likely right now, but I'm definitely still bearish on bonds as of right now, especially with everything going on with the yen. But we'll get into that because that's going to play a major role in what happens. Because when you have a parallel weakness with the dollar, it adds fuel to the yen, and it often moves more than any other major currency when the dollar softens. So we'll see some crazy moves coming up, especially if we flip here. If we're able to flip, and I wouldn't be looking for higher prices on bonds, until we start getting a close, maybe um, above here. But you'll get some early indications if we start inverting these gaps and whatnot. So right now, short term bullish, overall bearish on bonds, but let's see how we react off of these legs here, this leg here, and this leg here. So that is bonds. Let's get into Dixie, right? Dixie, crazy, crazy sell off. Let's start on the weekly here, right? So let me remove that. So because let me remove that. I don't need to see that. Okay. We sold off hard here, sold off really hard. So even with this, this is quarter three, and we snatched quarter three, sold off, distributed nicely here, retraced a bit, sold off again, pretty much all in one day on Friday, all of last week. So what I'm looking at right here, all right, we had a stop run here, right? So as of now, there's no orders here. There's nothing under here, right? So what do I want to see? I would like to see us move down here and then create some type of retracement. Could be up, could be back up here, but that will give us failure swings to target. That's why I'm looking to see what type of reaction we get once we come into this box. So if we come back up here and we can get something, we get a stop run, failure swing, and then a lower time frame stop run or something like that, and then maybe we sell off some more. Um, Now if we move to the left, we have all these failure swings. So it's possible that we just run through this area, this key level right here, and which is a this is a quarter three low. So we could just run that and then up here. I always keep this on my chart. This is the previous year EQ, right? 50% of the previous year's range. There's a lot of things going on in this area, right? So right here, we have a weekly gap here. There's a monthly gap here on the lower time frame. Let's go to the daily. On the daily, there's there's a huge volume imbalance here, right? Um, I don't I don't know. I'm not trying to predict what we're going to do all the way here, here, here. So as of now, what I'm looking for is lower prices. I don't expect a large retracement here. Um, that's why I have my alert set right here on the 25% of the weekly range. I'll see what happens when we come up to this area. So you might get Monday, um, a Monday retracement, Tuesday. We have quite a bit of news coming up also. Um, so we'll see what happens once we get to this area. If I get down to the 4 hour on here, you'll see a little bit of structure here. Okay. So like I said, we were creating the upside. We took that quarter three high, sold off, right? Breaking structure, internal. This is actually what would be considered your change of character or market structure shift, whatever. Um, and then we did the same thing here back to the upside. But because we're bearish, um, we have another change of character here and another break of structure. So right now, technically, this would be my range from here to here. That would be my premium and discount range, right? Of this 4 hour, my 4 hour range. So again, I wouldn't expect maybe slight retracement here. Could sell off. We could see something like that, and then a sell off. So we'll just keep our eyes open up here. And remember, you don't have to cut it. You don't have to catch the top or the bottom of whatever move. We just want a chunk. We just want a small piece. So um, let's get over to the yen real quick. All right. So where am I at? Not the split. Let's get over to the yen. Let's go to the basket. I know we'll come back to EU and GU. Well, you know what? Let me do EU and GU real quick. It's the same, just the opposite, right? I'm not looking for any crazy moves, any big moves. I have a buy side target right here. This is my weekly range. We souped last week, right? Um, since we souped last week, I'm looking. We may get some type of pullback with news. Could just deem that manipulation because even on the daily, we have a soup here too, right? So because we have a soup there too, I don't expect this area to get ran. So for me, here to here would be right. This is what your premium and discount would be on this 4 hour range. Um, and I don't even need to see it come back here. But because we have on the lower time frame, this would be some type of low resist, low resistance, failure swings, whatever you want to call it, right here. We could see it here. Um, Listen, I'm not anticipating. I'm just watching. We'll see what price does, and we'll take it from there. But we're bullish. I'm bullish on the euro. I'm bullish on the pound, pound USD, and euro USD until we get to these key areas, these key levels, and we'll see how we respond to that. So let's take it to the yen basket. All right. So I want to talk about this for a little bit, right? And I'm trying to get through it quickly so we don't have a super long video, but the yen basket, what we've done is we've literally just taken the 2024 lows right here, right? Since we've taken these lows, let me move this off of here. Since we've taken these lows, um, and isn't it so odd that once we take the lows, all this news comes out, right? This is why I tell you, technicals move fundamentals, right? Once the technicals on the chart tell you what price is going to do, you'll get news that correlates with whatever the price is telling you, right? The fundamentals are great. Fundamentals are great to understand, but being able to read price is all you need. It's all you need. Everything else is just a catalyst for price to get to where it's already going because it's already written, right? So not only did we take the 2024 lows, right? We souped the previous week. Not only did we soup the previous week, what we had is a surge on intervention speculation. Okay, what does that mean? Right? So let me just talk for a second. So a lot of traders saw sharp yen strength after signs that like policymakers may step into the forex markets to stop excessive yen weakness. This sell-off has been since for over a year, right? Almost no bullish strength at all for the yen. And when the Bank of Japan decided, okay, we might have to step in um, and do something, a lot of traders had to start covering their short positions, right? And this includes a U.S. rate check, right? So the rate check on the interest rates, because of the weakening dollar, it's trying to coincide with the yen to be able to bring some value back to the yen. Because remember, this is a country's economy, and Japan's not some third world country. Japan is a big figure on the world stage. So rumors of FX intervention, um, short coverings, the bond traders and the carry traders, they have to execute to reduce yen funded carries, meaning they can't keep holding positions over, carrying them over and over, because they'll get margin called, especially if this starts jumping, right? So mechanically, it'll strengthen the yen and the cross rates and it boosts the entire yen basket, right? So and also, when you have a parallel weakness in the dollar, it adds fuel, and the yen often moves more than any major currency when the dollar is soft, any other currency. So that is something to look forward to. And especially, we have, there's so much to go rebalance and whatever. I mean, I don't even have to, I could just draw a straight trend line and it could stop anywhere. There's gaps everywhere, right? But my first targets would be obviously these equal highs right here. So I am bullish on any, I'm sorry, I'm bearish on anything yen related this week, and they're my number one plays, my number one plays. Um, so well, let's take a look at USD JPY, right? So on this weekly, we had a failure to even take the previous week high. We took previous year high, so this is 2025, right? We're taking that high. We did soup the daily, right? And I'm expecting a very short retracement somewhere in this area, right? And it could be the previous weekly open. This could serve as a point of contention, and then we just sell off. And I don't expect many gaps to be holding. And if you see something, you might see something like this, and then continue sell off, right? I don't foresee us revisiting this right now. Um, and it's just there's just so much going on with them trying to save the yen right now and Japan's economy as a whole, that it has to come reclaim some liquidity. So any of these pairs, right? Any of these euro, same thing, right? Same thing, except with the euro, we actually swept previous week high, right? GJ, same thing, we swept previous. Now, this is where I want to get into to relative strength. You look at this. If you pattern trade, you'll say, "Oh, we're bullish. We are absolutely bullish on, the yen still, Aussie JPY." I don't want you to pattern trade this because this is where understanding technicals and everything else going on. With that going on, right? Understanding we swept this high, right? Now, I want to get into relative strength, right? And a lot of people, you might say, okay, what is relative strength or uh oops, sorry. Um or even a relative strength index, right? Let's go back to the weekly, and I want you to understand this real quick. So when you're measuring, so the indicator RSI, that measures the average gains versus average losses, right? So over a fixed period, a look back period, and usually it's a 14-day period. A lot of people, look at that and say, who's in control right now, buyers or sellers, right? So it tells you momentum strength, like acceleration, deceleration, and whether something's overextended or not. And RSI doesn't monitor trend or fundamentals or where price is going to reverse, right? And so the core RSI zones you use are um, people say, okay, if you're above 70, you're bullish. If you're below 30, you're bearish, right? So, and this is where you try to predict what I want you to do to understand relative strength, and using JPY is a perfect example, right? So JPY this week is a perfect example in understanding relative strength. Okay, so you have the yen basket. We know that we are bullish on the yen, right? We know that we're bullish on the yen. So I want it to come over here, right? So we have the yen over here. This is how we're going to do it this week. So we have the yen. All right. Let's go let's do this. Uh, let's do bullish pairs. All right. And this is where I typically like to use futures to see what's bullish. You know what? I'm not even gonna do it this way. We're not gonna do this. I know we're bullish on the year. We're gonna go strongest to weakest, right? And what is weak right now, right? The dollar, the US dollar, right? So that's the weakest pair I have right now. All right. So now what I would like to do is go to let's go to Euro GPP and let's see what we have. So what would I say here, right? We had a turtle soup where we are distributing bearish right now. We're in bearish order flow or bearish leg, whatever you want to call it. So I would say the euro is still weaker than the pound right now. I don't have to go down to a single lower time frame, right? All right, so let's do this. So now we say the pound is stronger. Let's just do this. Pound is stronger than euro. Okay, so we'll just stick that right there. All right, and so now let's go to Aussie NZD. All right, so now, right now, it looks like if this is going to hold, and it looks like the reaction we're getting from this weekly fair value gap is bullishness off of here. I would say that Aussie is going to be stronger than New Zealand. So if I go down to the daily, let's see. Well, out of the weekly, let's go to 4 hours. See if we've shifted already. So looks like uh, if you're using, we've created this, whatever you want to say, this order block or lower time frame demand zone. We've inverted this gap, whatever. It looks like we shifted, we came down, retested, and we're moving higher. Now, that's not to say that this low can't get swept as well, but overall for the week, for the weekly, I'd be looking for higher prices, and then we have this failure swing where this retested, respected that. So I would definitely be looking for higher prices out of here. Look at my arrow. So higher prices out of there, right? So I would say Aussie is stronger than New Zealand right now. So let's put that on the screen. Aussie is going to be stronger. Now it may not be in the beginning of the week, might for manipulation, but Aussie stronger than New Zealand. Now out of these two, which one is stronger? So well, let's check out um, Euro Aussie. Let's see. So actually, let me check out Pound Aussie since that's the stronger of the two. right? So pound Aussie looks like we're having a crazy sell-off, right? Crazy sell-off. So without even, and after this week, look like we're pushing lower without even having to go down to a lower time frame. Pound is weaker than Aussie. So when I go over here, I know I could just put that Aussie is stronger. Ah, shit. Oh, there we go. Aussie stronger than pound. Now I still have JPY as my strongest pair this week. Now, even though it doesn't show it on the Aussie JPY, I believe the flip is already in. Okay, so now we have that. All right, so what else do we have here? Let's take our CHF and our CAD. Let's take a look at those. All right, so CAD, CHF, what are we looking at? Let's see which ones are stronger out of these. Let's look at the weekly. Well, this weekly didn't even have a wick, right? Didn't even put a wick, just straight down. So listen, I don't have to be the best trader to know and we have failure swings. See, we always have a target. If you have a target, then you know. Um, so as of right now, I'm looking for lower CAD over CHF. So CAD would be weaker than CHF. And if we go down to the daily, it looks like what we're doing. It could be just filling in this gap, maybe, but from the way I'm looking, look at the monthly, right? We swept that. And for those of you who trade that candle, whatever that candle theory stuff is, this could be your candle two, this could be your candle three, whatever. But we have a target. And that's my main concern, right? We have a target here, right? So CAD CAD is weaker than CHF, right? So we know that. Let me add CAD here. CAD. All right. And let's see and CHF. All right. So let's look at USD CHF right quick. Let's see what that is based on. All right. Well, this isn't even this is straight drop, right? So the dollar is way weaker than CHF, right? And let's see if the dollar's weaker than CAD. Dollar's weaker than CAD, right? All right. So we had CAD is weaker than CHF, right? And we got CHF here. But now let's check. Well, I don't even know if CHF goes there. Let's check Euro CHF. Let's see. Or pound CHF. Let's see if that's stronger or not. Let's see which way we're headed. So on the weekly, we took previous quarter high on pound CHF. We just swept the weekly, souped the weekly, right? Again, no strength that week for pound against CHF. So straight to the bottom, right? So now we have, again, another CHF. We have the pound is weaker than CHF. So we'll move CHF in front of these guys, right? All right. Now let's take CHF and Aussie, right? Aussie's the strongest, so let's see what we got going on. Where's my Aussie CHF? All right. So here we have a little bit of a stance. So we swoop the highs and we swoop the lows. So this could be considered a the strength is pretty equal on this one. So let's go to NZD CHF, see if we can get some more information. Let's go down to the daily though. Uh, and this daily says, okay, at the very minimum, we came back and touched this gap. So I would need some more information. But the way that the weekly closed on here, as of now, I would say we're still bullish because I have this short-term target right here, and we're in bullish order flow. If you want to use this as your order block or or this as your demand zone or whatever. Um, we could use that if I go down to a smaller time frame, right? We use this as an order block or demand zone. Um, we could, we could frame it along from here. So this is something I would use more information. And actually, this is a swing trade I'm still in Aussie CHF. I got in, let me see if where I got in around here. I took a little profit here. And I think I took a little profit here on Friday, and then it sold off. So we'll see where we're at, but I'm still in here. And my if we are to remain bullish, my final target is here, which is that short term target. But let's go to NZD CHF real quick and let's see where we're at with it. Um, okay, again, so we had this is something else I forgot. We have the divergence between the weekly, the here and here. So this would give me more bullish bias, right? So I would say that Aussie and ZD are stronger than here. So I'm not going to let this deter me from, from my longs. I would have to start getting some movement down here to even look short. But there's so many other plays I wouldn't even be short. I would just let my trade take me out break even and move on to something else because it's going to be a good week for trading. So right now, I would say so NZD, I'm bullish for the weekly, and Aussie, I'm bullish for the weekly there. So on this side, I would say these are stronger than CHF. So now if we take our entire playlist, let's see. I have JPY stronger than Aussie, stronger than oh, stronger than NZD, stronger than CHF, which is stronger than GPP. Uh, Damn, which is stronger than Euro, which is stronger than CAD, which is stronger than USD. So is this is my playlist for the week. This is your order of strength. This is your relative strength. So this is how you want to start framing trades, right? So if we're taking USD JPY, right? The strongest pair and the weakest pair, we know bearish, right? If we're taking, um, let's say Aussie CAD, we know we're bullish, right? If we're taking, so anything to the right, you're going to be bearish, right? If it's leading, you're going to be bearish, right? If anything to the left, if it's leading, you're going to be bullish, right? So if your pair GPP CAD, I'm going to be bullish, right? GPP is stronger than CAD, right? CHF Euro. CHF is stronger than Euro. The pair is Euro CHF. So Euro CHF is Euro's leading CHF. I'm going to be bearish, right? So this is how you can find your trades. And I usually do this with futures, but it was so easy to do it with JPY, using JPY and using just the relative strength that you can find. There's so many setups this week, guys. I mean, there's literally so many. And this is your news. This is what we have. Aussie news on Tuesday with CPI. You may get some type of pullback because if you look at Aussie on just Aussie USD, it's been on a mission, man. It's been on a freaking mission. And I got in here. I got in Aussie. Oh, I got in here right here when we souped on Friday, and I got out about right here for I think it was a 2-to-1. I got in, let me see. I got in about right here, and I think I covered here. And yeah, it was about a 3-to-1. Right. I got out about right here about no, I got in about, oh yeah, no, I took it on when it was retrace it a bit right about here. So yeah, about 9 o'clock. So yeah, it's about a 3 to 1. Um, but damn, I could have held this thing. And this was my original target here, but I just didn't think we would get there on a Friday. And I thought, well, okay, well, we're gonna retrace into this. We're gonna dig into this area for the week, but I don't see us coming back very far, unless Aussie CPI, which is Tuesday, unless that brings us some retracement. But CAD is busy this week, and I expect a lot of bearishness on CAD. And I'm gonna tell you why with CAD, right? And the CAD is the weakness is being driven by the interest rate dynamics, right? So the Bank of Canada their cuts were matched by the Fed, so there's no yield advantage for CAD's bonds. Um, Oil and the commodity volatility is so there's so much craziness going on, so there's less export support. Um, it's just sentiment across the market. This is where fundamentals come into play a little bit. Um, that the risk markets are actually favoring USD at times, but because of the guy that's in office, it's so flip flop everywhere, and CAD kind of follows the dollar a little bit. It's probably the closest currency to follow the dollar, but I would just say I would be bearish on CAD until you start hearing news. Um, so right, because right now, if you're a fundamentalist, there's no clear macro advantage, right? There's mixed economic signals and commodity dependency, are is based on keeping CAD bearish for now, right? So this is why you see gold ripping, you know. Um, it's one of the reasons, right? Gold is just doing its own thing. I didn't even go over gold because to me, gold is gold, silver, everything. It's the same thing I said last week, right? I said buy it off the open and just you don't have to do anything. I'm not looking. I didn't even mark it up this week because there's almost no point. Like it just took off. Look from the week, took off. Uh, XAU euro, you don't have to look at it. Even silver, we had a little slight little movement on the weekly. We got a little pullback here on that 4 hour. Oh, I'm sorry, here it is on this 4 hour. Um, and I was I was I don't know why I didn't get in. I thought we might come down and take out these lows right here, right? Take out these, and then I was like, okay, man, we'll get in, right? But wrong again. No retracement, no nothing, no love from them. So metals are closed for me this week. I'm not even tripping about those. So because we got a lot of stuff going on, but that's kind of gonna wrap it up for me right now. Just wanted to put that out there for you guys and kind of just put some things out. This is the most important thing to me. This is something that I guess, you know what, I'll start doing this and putting this on the videos every week because knowing this, right? Knowing this, I don't like the way that looks actually. Put that space right there. Um, Once you have this, you can start framing trades for on a weekly basis, trying to catch a weekly range, right? So you just take your pairs, strongest to weakest, right? So anything that's leading, right? CAD, CHF, we're bearish. USD, JPY, super bearish. Euro, NZD, bearish. Euro, Aussie, bearish. So even if we go, let's look, I didn't even look at it, but let's go to Euro, Aussie, right? Boom. So we souped this week. We ran into this gap, this monthly gap. There's also a weekly gap under here. I would expect us to dig into this weekly, right? I don't expect this us to bounce off of this gap or anything. We're gonna get low right here, right? Um, and even on the pound, we have these failure swings here, and you have a bunch of failure swings here that we could come rebalance. We could come take. Um, let's look pound CAD. What do I have? Pound CAD. Oh, this is one of my plays of the week, man. I'm gonna start adding that once I learn how to do all the social media. Um, we souped here in the gap, soup, close above. This is like a perfect play right here, right? And even on the daily, right? Daily, we had this massive move up. I would love to see just a touch in here and then out of there, right? Um, you know, what you obviously could get is continue, we get there, and then, we take off. But pound CAD, I'm very bullish on here. You may see a speed bump here, a low retracement, and then we're back up. But I expect these highs to get taken this week. Or if we don't take these highs, I expect a failure swing of some sort. Excuse me, of some sort here, but not one that lasts very long. Because I do expect this to get ran. Let's see, what other one was I looking at? NZD JPY. I'm looking at this one off the rip, right? Let me get down to this 1 hour, right? So, um, I'm looking at this area specifically. So all I did was I cut out this box, right? This London box. This box, right? For some reason, when we came down, we wanted to come mitigate this area right here. So I said, oh, this must be an important area, right? So look, London, London, London. So this is my London session, which is from midnight to 6 a.m. I want to see a reaction in this London session. So we could come up here, maybe have some type of stop run, and then we fall off. Now it doesn't have to be Monday, it could be Tuesday. But it, 3 days in a row would be. I'm expecting a Monday high of the week on yen pairs, which is why I have this here. So I would love to see the reaction here. And if you put this on your chart, put your alerts on this chart. I have this is a 4 hour range right here. This 4 hour range, which is because this one's souped here, right? I keep this on the chart, and there's your 4 hour gap. Then we get up in here, and from here I'll just be looking for some type of maybe 15-minute soup, or um, yeah, just nothing special. And then I'm riding it down here. Um, so that's all I got for now. I appreciate y'all stopping by again. Share it, do everything, whatever those people say. Follow, like, subscribe, and all that and whatnot. But yo, I appreciate the love and support always, and I will catch y'all this week with a bag full of money.